Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 37. Welcome to One Day Today. We have I'm really excited about all our guests sharing today. We have some people performing, and I'll just let them, before I even tell you. I'm just gonna let it happen and unfold. I'm really excited. We have some beautiful souls sharing with us. This has been an amazing experience for me, having this stage, just having this outlet to have people that are just up to amazing, beautiful things in the world. Despite pandemic, despite all the civil unrest happening, there's beautiful things happening through individuals who are contributing to something bigger than themselves. And that's really what this stage is. It's a space for you, and I'm talking to you specifically. You share your gift. We all have a unique gift, a unique genius, and we're all better off when we can share our gift, but when we can receive the gift that we all have to share. And it's been a really beautiful space for me to really just be humbled every day and to learn something from people who come from different places or have different circumstances and experiences. And I'm really excited about our guest today. Say hello to our co-host, Matthew. Matthew, what's up, brother?
Lots of stuff, man, but not like too much to talk about here. Let's put it that way. How are you?
I'm doing well. I've been saying that it's been a dance. I've been in so much is going on. It's been a dance between overwhelm and expansion, and it's it's great because I'm growing and there's lots of beautiful things opening up. But I'm kind of finding I have to face a lot of things that are not necessarily easy. But it's part of the process of coming into my own skin and showing up as who I am and what I have to share. And just like I was saying, like, sharing my gift requires me facing the parts of myself that I've avoided responsibility for, or showing up in, and it's been a beautiful opportunity for me to just grow but like, the stage has been an amazing catalyst for that, because I just see so many amazing people who are just like inspire me, and it lights a fire underneath me. So I'm doing well. All things going on considered, I'm doing really well.
That's beautiful, man. I really appreciate that, and I love that vulnerability. Like, which is what this place is all about. Just being vulnerable, right? Like, just being real, being authentic, and not trying to be perfect for someone else's opinion or judgment or thoughts or approval or validation or whatever word you want to put there.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. No, I've tried that.
so
I've
that
tried
being
that for long
said,
enough.
I think we got a
Yeah,
lovely show today. We've got
we
a
do.
whole host of ladies lined up that are, oh, and my internet's frozen again. Ah,
Well, on that note, let's get started. Let's bring in Shawnrey. We have Shawnrey Notto. Hello, Shawnrey.
Hi,
Thank you so much for joining us. We're very excited to have you.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Well, I'm just gonna let you have at it, Shawnrey, because I really want to hear your share and see your gift that you're sharing with us. So without
Okay.
further ado, Shawnrey, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. So, oh my gosh, I just really loved, what you already said about sharing, about vulnerability, about really bringing ourselves here and being present. And I just want to, like, really quickly just say, for me, like, this is, I love doing this, and like my heart is pounding, and I'm like, oh my goodness, okay, how can I just really just be here, be present, be right now? And it's so funny. Like, I want to just share. So really quickly, what I do, I help people, like, get embodied in their bodies, connected with their full self-expression, and I use poetry and movement and song and all these different things so that we can, like, really just feel who we are and feel our truth, because I just feel that we have so many things in the world that are telling us to act a certain way, to be a certain way, to be bold and big, or to be quiet, and to police our bodies. And so um and it's really important for me that we, to be able to connect to our bodies, our truth, our sovereignty, our joy, our expression. And this journey for me started really when I was 16. I was in, I grew up all over the place. I was a military brat. But then I moved to Arkansas when I was like 11 years old. So here I am in Arkansas, and I really I wanted to I wanted to go to Harvard or to Princeton. I didn't know much about college except for those things. I just knew like the top names. And I loved school. I was an athlete. I was also like in creative writing. I loved doing all those different things. And I ended up getting in this program for gifted and talented African American youth. And in that was where I learned they're going to teach us how to really get into college. I knew about the ACT, but I'd never heard of the SAT and all these different types of scholarships and things that you could do. And so I got in this program, and we would be in big group meetings, but then also we would have one-on-one meetings with our mentors. And my mentor was like this older white man, and I would have one-on-one talks with him, and it was really wonderful. I would talk about psychology and feelings and being able to connect to ourselves and express, and he would talk about money and economics and all these different things. And at some point these meetings changed, and he started taking advantage of me. He actually started molesting me. He would start touching my body and kissing me and just doing all these things that just really were horrible. I was 16, and I felt that he had the keys to the kingdom. Here's this man who, is going to be able to show me how I could get out, how I could be powerful in the world. And he was violating me. And I completely shut down. I went from being a straight A student to literally getting D's and F's. And I got really depressed and I felt disgusting. Anyways, one day my counselors found me wandering the hallways, just completely out of it. And they didn't know what was happening, but they sat me down and they said, "Shawnrey, you need to stop taking one of your honors classes and take something else." And they gave me the choice between choir and dance. And I decided to take dance. And it was through this dance class that I took that I was able to heal. One of the first assignment that they had us do was to create a solo. And the solo that I made, I used at the time, the movie Prince of Egypt had just come out. And there's this song called Deliver Us. And I made this solo to this song, Deliver Us. And the words were just so perfect because for me, it was delivering myself from this shame and pain and fear and anger and rage and all these things that were inside of my body that I couldn't get out. I didn't have words. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to say anything. And so I ended up creating this dance that was allowing me to get all the anger and then also to regain the power in my own body, to regain my sovereignty, to regain my own, my own self. And that's what and so since 16, that's what I've been doing. I have been using movement and poetry and sounding and everything to help me get connected to my own body, my own power, my own expression, and then have been teaching around the world. I've been teaching it. I taught in Liberia for people who have been torn from their homes and unable to connect with their own bodies. And I taught in Brazil for homeless girls. And I've taught in San Francisco and Oakland, and the whole gamut. In Korea, I've taught this whole gamut of embodiment, of expression, of you being able to be connected to your body. The thing I say is that when I come into my body, I come into my power. And the thing that people always say is, oh, I feel my body. And so one thing I want to share with you, I want to share two things. Because I'm also like a performance artist. So like when I perform, it's always with audience participation. So even when I'm sharing right now with you, I'm going to share with you some of the songs and chants that I do, but I'm also going to ask you, even though I can't see you, I'm going to share it in such a way and ask you to also join me, because my healing is your healing and your healing is the world's healing, and your expression and your embodiment and your dance and your chant and your being you is the most beautiful gift that we can give. So with that, I want to share this thing. I'm gonna first do it like as a song, and then I'm gonna do it as like a thing of like this back and forth call and response thing, like I learned in the church, because I used to do that kind of thing. So, anyways, first I'll sing it and share it with you. And if you're a woman, you can say I am woman. And if you are like, other body, you can also say I am power. So I'm just going to sing it for you first and then move it. And then after that, I'm going to do something that I'm going to ask you to do it with me. So it goes like this. I am power. Hear me roar. I love my body so I can soar. I know my mind, ideas so bright. Speak from my heart and shine my light. So that's the song. And then whenever I'm doing it, if you all want to, you can go ahead and clap and get a rhythm going. And it's going to go like, I'm going to say, I am power. And that's for you to say, I am power. And then I'll say, hear me roar. So I'm going to do this, and I'm just going to feel you all singing and being with me, and just allow this to just really get into your body. Just feel your body with this. And I'm going to do the movements, and you can do the movements too. So clap with me. Mm-hmm. I am power. Your turn. Hear me roar. I love my body so I can soar. I know my mind, ideas so bright. Speak from my heart and shine my light. So, and one other thing I want to share with you is this little poem. It's another thing about just really being in your body. And it goes, my body is sovereign. My body is wise. When I listen to my body's wisdom, I heal. I reveal my true voice and claim myself as my own. And so without the words, it looks like this. So these things they are performance, it is poetry, it is a prayer, it is something that lives inside of my body, and then I also share it so that you can have it be inside of yours. So that's what I do. That's what I have to share, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shawnrey. That was beautiful. That was incredible. Your whole story and how you have just like how you have turned just such a a horrible, difficult situation, with that mentor who took advantage of you, and you have not only come out on the other side stronger, but you're like making us all stronger. Just your it's contagious, that your energy and your power and your singing, but and you're moving your body. It's beautiful, and I say this a lot, but it's like it is under, humans are like diamonds and pearls. It's under pressure that our beauty, it allows our beauty to shine. And I think you are a testament to that. And it's just so beautiful. So I just acknowledge your courage and your strength to just be here sharing their story, but also to just be sharing that gift, and to share that song. And that, a lot of us, myself included, I didn't feel like I was enough growing up. I didn't feel like I fit in. And just like really seeing and acknowledging my own power, but from my body, not from my mind, but from my brain, from my body, and from my heart. And so I think it's amazing. So that I want to talk about that, the Prince of Egypt song that performance that you made. And what was it that you were feeling in that moment? Like following, like walk us through like how you were feeling before, during, and after. Like what changed? Because it sounds like that was a very monumental moment for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said before, I was super depressed. Just like I had a complete brain fog because I was terrified. I didn't know when trauma happens to you, like a lot of times, and I've spoken to so many people, you lose your voice. And especially in a situation like this where there's someone in power, in power, and then they put their will on you, and especially like, you're, like, both like mentally and bodily. And so I literally just felt like a husk of a human being. I felt like I felt completely powerless and violated because I had never even had a boyfriend or anything like that at that time. So I mean, all of this was happening, in just in this crazy way. And so I just remember just feeling so empty and lost. And then when I was in the dance class, they said you can do anything you want to. And I remember like when I was listening to the music of, that particular song, it's just because it started off with like, like this really heavy, like change, and it's like, oh, 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 they're like, pain and sorrow and suffering, and like, and that was how I felt. And so I just, like, I love music because, just like, it gave sound to the suffering that I was feeling that I didn't have the words for. And so while I was listening to this song, then I just started moving my body, and I started crying. Um, and then and then like, and they talk about deliver us. And I remember I was like, I'd made this costume, and I literally like, was made this tearing off motion of like chains. And it was like tearing off his touch and tearing off all these expectations and all these things that I felt people were telling me that I had to do. And in that, I was just like, oh my God, as also having grown up in the South, um, and in the family I grew up in, you don't talk about your body, you don't talk about sex, you don't talk about these types of things, it's a sin. And so, so being able to have a space, a way to say it without saying it, and to be able to express all the things that I wasn't able to say, and didn't feel safe to say, and didn't feel supported to. And that's what I love about art. Art, you don't have to completely like expose yourself and be like literal truth. This is the thing that happened to me. It can be your particular expression and how it comes out, and it can look any kind of way, but because it's so uniquely yours, it's that much more healing. So that was the yeah, I just felt like I could feel, and it was okay for me to feel me in creating that dance.
Yeah, that's so beautiful, and I think it's well, I think it's what's interesting is like what you're talking about, like physical trauma, like how trauma is not just in our head, and I mean we experience it in all of our space, whether it's our physical space, in our body, like you're saying, and how you physically, how the dance, like you were like pulling chains from the trauma like off, and you were like, and your body was releasing it, and I think that's remarkable. So there's not only emotional trauma or psychological trauma, it's like your body still carries the trauma if we don't connect with our body. And I think that's so powerful, because I feel, I mean, myself included, a lot of my life I was a vessel in my head. I didn't really have a connection with my body, and that's something that I'm still working on. And when we were talking on a phone call earlier, I was telling you how last year I found myself addicted to swing dancing, and I found a lot of healing properties. I mean, there's always so much in like physical activity, but particularly in dance, there is some kind of expression form within just the experience of it that's way bigger. It's like art. It's way bigger than me. As soon as we experience something bigger than ourselves, like that's what art does. It opens that up. It opens up, like it takes us out of the lens that we see the world, and like with our adult glasses on, and we see like, it's like art just like invokes this wonder, this beauty, this joy that's beyond words. And you embody that with your, it sounds like with that performance of the for that song. And I think that that's just so beautiful. I think it's amazing that you found that for yourself and that you're sharing that with us. So it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like literally, it just there's nothing that brings me more joy. Like I said, I mean, I perform, um, but like whenever I see other people like being able to connect with their artistry as well, it's like, oh my gosh,
Mm.
yeah, I'm so
I get it. Absolutely.
happy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I seriously get that. Like, it hasn't happened with me through dance or movement that much. I have seen that and experienced that, and it's profound to watch other people like finally light up and connect, right? Like just having that experience. It's one of the few things that I really find like, worth pursuing in this life is guiding people to connecting to themselves. And it, the journeys that each person seems to experience are so unique to them, and there's so many just amazingly profoundly powerful lessons that are learned in each person's journey. And I'm curious, like you brought up depression, and that's a fairly universal one, but I've never had the experience of having a lot of people that I meet actually understand or embody what that is. I'm just wondering if you could talk about it for a little bit. Like, what was depression for you? What was the embodiment? And like, what was the release?
Mm. Oh yeah, absolutely. So depression feels like, or for me, felt like um, trying to walk through black tar, black sludge. Like it literally feels like being in a black sludge, tar, sticky thing. And, so everything's like really slow, dark, pressed down. And that shows up in it shows up in how I move. It showed up in like how I saw everything. If everything was filtered through this literal black tar, this black tar, then I didn't have any energy. I didn't have any joy. And honestly, for me, the like for me like the depression journey is like a it was like a really profound one. So for me, movement, it's not just movement. I mean, you can just like dance and be like, okay, good, but it's actually bringing conscious awareness to it. Is bringing so for me, I always combine movement and meditation or in mindfulness, like like you use the movement, and then you actually are paying attention to, to your body, to your emotions. Like when I'm feeling depressed, where does that come in my body? How does it come out in my voice? How does it affect how I write? And then like, and when I do a movement or something, it's like, then I can like literally the feel my energy, feel my cells moving. And then I get to then I pay attention to that and be like, okay, what is this telling me about? What is this telling me to my body? Like how, what is the energy shifting? And then I bring a quiet to it. And so like I bring, and the quietness is that self-reflection, so that we aren't always like trying to make it happen, trying to do the thing, creativity, depression or whatever. It comes from also giving ourselves that moment of reflection, that moment of really just being with ourselves instead of like trying to fix it, trying to make it right. And I think that's something that's really important about, and I think like in the creative process, like really the creative process is not just produce, produce, produce. It's actually create, reflect, feel, and respond.
I I've never actually heard it put that way before. I love it.
It's beautiful. Well said.
I'm wondering, like, could you share a specific example of a time where you kind of moved through that journey and what the actual release was,
Like the actual release from let's see.
from depression?
Yeah, let me think about. Okay, I can tell you this is like a really weird story, but it's like it's related. So, literally feeling like I was in like this black sludge, and having this, and then like there's like in the black sludge, there's like this you're not good enough. What are you doing? You're bad. You need to do more. I mean, like it's like this beat of like just toxicity happening. And then, um, and then like when I was having that happen, I started like I was moving, and then I got my heartbeat going. And then I actually, after that, I took a shower, and then I, like it was interesting because like here my heart is beating, so I'm feeling like I gave my body this, movement, this like this expression, and then I stopped. And I was then, but my heart, my blood is still flowing. I mean, like I was able to give myself a connection. But in the stopping, like then all of a sudden there's this silence and the stillness juxtaposed with me having actually moved my body. And then all of a sudden in that space, another voice came in and said, "Stop being so mean to me." And I was like, oh, I mean, and the thing is, I know that voice was able to come because I actually allowed my body to celebrate. And then I was in a stillness, and then I could hear the voice. I mean, that's the thing about if you just keep on moving, move, you create the energy, but you're not also giving yourself that, a moment of reflection. And in those moments of silence, at moments of reflection, that's when things start coming in. And when that voice came in, I was like, oh, holy freaking moly. I am talking so much shit to myself all the time. And I had no freaking idea. And that was just like, it was literally like, oh, and I was like, okay, this is.
Yeah, exactly. It's like sometimes creating the movement and just keeping it going becomes the escape. Like at that point, all I'm doing is I'm just suppressing what's really there. And like, I have to stop. I'm like, I get Absolutely. It. I'm with you. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's powerful. I mean, and I feel like in, Western society, silence is not as, we don't often really get true silence, and like it could even be, like auditory silence is one thing, but it's just like billboard, there's like so much information, just my phone's dinging right now. It's just like, it's always all the time. There's constant. So it's like, we think like we feel because the world is moving so fast paced that we need to move. And it's like, and it's so powerful what you said, because like, you're right. The creativity, it comes from that space and that reflection. It's not from just doing. It starts from being, and it's not, the doing comes from the space that being provides. And I feel that's overlooked a lot. I mean, with myself, just being in the rat race of of the world and how fast paced everything is. No, I got to pay my credit card. No, I got to do this. And like, we have to like set boundaries with ourselves to even have silence at all. And as an artist, I appreciate everything you're saying. And you're just such a beautiful, amazing soul, Shawnrey. And I'm really just so happy that you were here to share with us. I'm so grateful. So just thank you so much.
Thank you. It was so beautiful to be able to share with y'all and hear this. It was yummy.
It was yummy. Well, it's our pleasure. We're gonna check back with you in a bit. We're gonna bring in our next guest. But thank you so much, Shawnrey. That was amazing. I really am just inspired by you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Shawnrey. And I just want to say hello to you tuned in. You know, this is amazing, the space. Every day I'm inspired and I'm humbled, but I want to encourage and invite you to share your gift, to share your genius on this stage. You know, that's why we're here, for you to express yourself, but we're going to give you a space that you will be loved and that you will be accepted for who you are. And this is a space that you are safe to be vulnerable and to share yourself authentically. And this is my promise to you. You have a unique genius. You have a unique gift that benefits me. It benefits Matthew. It benefits Shawnrey. It benefits my next door neighbor. It benefits the people that I don't know. It benefits the whole world. And I see this space as a place for you to just stand in who you are and to be loved, but also we want to share your gift. So we encourage you, share your gift on this stage. And that's part of what our mission is bringing you and me and communities together in joyous celebration, unifying humanity in our diversity to create a better world for us all. That's why we're here. I'm excited. I want to bring our next guest. We have the lovely Nicole Keating. Hello, Nicole.
Hello. Thank you so much, Abram and Matthew. Oh my goodness, Shawnrey, I love you. It's no accident that we're here together. That was wild. I feel like, so I'm Nicole, and it was funny because as Shawnrey was speaking, I was like, oh, I was watching the mind try to figure out how I was going to come into talking about this today. And then what's really beautiful is that source or spirit, whatever you call it, the divine, that thing that's beating our hearts and helping us to breathe. It always has an incredible, more perfect plan than this little monkey mind could make up. So I just want to start there and say, of course, what you guys were talking about right at the end is such a beautiful, divine, grand entryway for what I wanted to share today. So so I'm going to talk about epic failure. That's something a lot of people don't always talk about. It's not bright and shiny. It's not part of the narrative. It's not part of the plan, but it is absolutely part of the plan always. You guys were talking about just like the go, go, go energy right at the end there. And that is so embedded into our society. And we're in a time right now where that is collectively crumbling. So I'm just going to share briefly about my story because we have a fun collection of contribution here in this 15 minutes. So I started a business. It's called The Art of Epic Wellness, and that has since merged into Sourcitarian. But basically, I woke up in 2014, 2013, realizing that my health and my wellness was screaming at me. It was asking me to pay attention. And once I started to learn about health and wellness, I started to go down the rabbit hole. Oh my gosh, there's fluoride in the water. Oh my goodness, mercury's not great for you. In fact, it's one of the biggest neurotoxins that you can find, right? And so I started going down. They call it the rabbit hole. And I also call it's the vortex to awakening. So we have opportunity to do this many times in our lives. And I think many of us watching right now are probably in your own version of your own great awakening. There's so much happening on the planet. So anyway, I decided I need to share this information. And I'm a painter and an artist, and I was doing art therapy. And I just decided I'm going to start this podcast. And so I went on the journey of the podcast, and I found this guru and that guru. And I rose and I shared and I created. And, the beginning was amazing and it was beautiful. And I was really channeling my divine source into this project. And then I kept going week after week after week after week, working towards climbing the charts and getting more subscribers and sharing more mission and more vision and more content. This was like, now content is overwhelming. We're in a place where there's so much information overload, but that was the time when the content, like this, be able to create on this level became really accessible. And it was like this thing, and what really truly happened. So I was on this path for about 2 years. And towards the end of this experience, I started to feel really overwhelmed, really exhausted. And I just kept pushing myself. About the last 3 months of the podcast, I cared so much. And I just kept going and I just kept going. And like Shawnrey shared, this little voice inside of me was like, please listen to me. And I just kept going and I just kept pushing and I just kept doing it, just kept going. And there was this little voice inside of me that I was not listening to. And so came the crash. So it's funny because at the time I blamed it on a lot of other factors. But the truth is that the universe will tap you on the shoulder. And then it'll smack you upside the head. And then it will you'll veer off the road into a tree. Like this is how transformation seems to work. It's if we don't listen, if we just keep hitting snooze and we just keep going and pushing and pushing and pushing, this is what happens. So long story short, I got into non-GMO activism and the podcast got shut down. And I struggled and thrashed about and all of those things to try to get it back on. And I found out through other people, like your show's not showing up anywhere. And it was really devastating. And I remember having to coach myself, well, what would you tell someone else? And I was just in an absolute emotional breakdown. And finally, about a week into this struggle, 2 weeks in, I said, because I couldn't find anyone to help me. No one would help me. Apple, iTunes, there's no one there. It was the wild, wild west of podcasting. And there was no answer. And there was no answer because the answer was truly in the crumble, in the failure, in the breakdown so that I could break through. And so 2 weeks in, I remember self-coaching myself and saying, you know what, take space. That's what I would say to someone. And the space became 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 2 months. And all of a sudden I just went into this space, this void, this absolute exhaustion. And truly what I learned was I burned myself out. I burned out my doer. This has actually happened multiple times in my life, but this time it was just absolutely burned up. And what came through in that experience was all of a sudden, 2 months in, I just started to really feel creative again, feel excited about life, listening to my inner voice and starting to really take care of myself through self-care and meditation. And what this is an example of is what's happening right now. We're in a time where the systems are crumbling. All that is not sustainable is breaking down. And many of us are fighting this experience. It's scary. We're all in lockdown and COVID's happening and there's all this uncertainty and all this chaos. And I just always think back to that time because that has served me so well to know that there's a sovereignty in trusting that every death in nature and every death in our lives comes with a rebirth. And that's what we're on the edge of right now. We're literally in a space where there's breakdowns on big systems with closed doors. And what is new, what's the new earth, the new system is transparency, authenticity, vulnerability, presence, trust to connect with ourselves. I'm going to just set you up. I have a beautiful friend, a new friend, Paulina, and she is going to be sharing a really sweet song. And it's truly about, I feel like this is a really important piece of this message, is we need to stop looking outside of ourselves for the answer. The answer always lies within and without our connection to source. And so knowing any trigger that you experience, it's an inside job. Everybody in our world is a mirror. And so when I heard Paulina share this song, I wanted to bring her on here as well because it just really warmed my heart. And with the climate that we're in right now, I think it's a really, really powerful message. So, Abram, I guess you can bring in the beautiful Paulina to share her song and her wisdom.
Yes. Aloha, everybody. May I speak? Can you everybody hear me?
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. First, I just want to kind of shout out this space and what a beautiful co-creation, and that's rooted in vulnerability and expression and embodiment. I feel that's also something I am here alive to do and to lead in, and really create the space for people to come into their vulnerable expression and move energy and move traumas and find the way that they're able to liberate that. And I just, there's I love, Shawnrey. That was like such a beautiful share and really resonated with me so deeply. Around, I love your passion for people coming into their sensation, because once we are fully embodied in all of our sensation, true liberation is on the other side of that attunement. And so I want to just kind of commend this, and I really honor all of you for being here and showing up in your vulnerable expressions to help create a better world in our truth. And so this song is called Seven Feathers by Notto, and it's awesome how Nicole invited me in this space, and I'm excited to share it. It's not, playing music is just something that I do for my own feel-good bodiness, right? I have passions in my life. I'm an herbalist, and also really love speaking to sexual empowerment. So those are two of my top things in my life, but music just makes me feel really, really good. So I'm excited to share with y'all. All right. Everybody ready? Okay. All right. I know a carpenter, know a laborer, he is my teacher, he is my brother. I have a neighbor, he is my savior, he doesn't waver, he's a strong believer. I know a businessman, he scrapped his business plan while screaming, fuck the man. He gave into the land. They all are archetypes, people that I might like to be just like, the completely different way. And we coming out of our caves, coming out of our caves. I know a farmer, I know his visions, I know his struggle, I know his hope, I know, he is an optimist, he knows the young, I'm sorry, I know a father, I loved his daughter, I told him never would I forsake her, but I got home too late from one of my escapades. No woman to face, just a note that says, baby, I've sailed away, right out of my cave. Caught a swell, caught a wave to another inspiring place. My friend the bureaucrat, he just accepts all that which I cannot accept. Such frustration that I've wept for my friend the taxman. He is my father, and he tallies numbers all day. Yes, he knows his numbers, you can say. He taxes income. I asked him, how come? I work hard for every penny. Don't you think I deserve it all? Oh, the law song. There are flaws in the law. Answer to God, just doing my job. My friend, the astronomer, she is a stargazer. I swear they talk to her. Boy, I wish I knew what they were saying while I was laying in her bed with a chest on my head. Our intentions misread. I'm a nobody, I ain't got no money, just this ambition to tell the people we are equal. So baby, come out of your cave. Oh, catch a swell, catch a wave too well. Another inspiring place we owe. Oh. How is everybody? I don't think I can see anybody, but
We're here.
yay, okay, we're here.
Thank you.
Hey,
Beautiful soul.
Paulina, yeah,
I
thank
was a little nervous about that.
Thank you, Paulina. I get it. Well, thank you. Well, thank you for sharing that song, a beautiful song. And Nicole, thank you for that just beautiful transition introduction. And I'm just so many dots are connecting. I'm so happy that you're both here to share. I mean, you know what? I'm just going to bring Shawnrey back in too, because I feel like this is all kind of connected and it seems like we all know each other. So hello, Shawnrey again, Nicole, Paulina, you all inspire me. I just want to let you, after all that sharing, I just want to let you just speak to what was all just shared. I mean, that's just so beautiful. I'm inspired right now.
Well, I'll just speak to the line that grabbed me in the song that Paulina shared. There's a part about we're all archetypes. And what is it, Paulina? It's like we're all archetypes, somebody that I might like to be just like. So I can literally see in each one of you like something I would like to be just like. And I think there's such beauty about walking around the world that way and just truly seeing each other, witnessing and embodying each other. And so, Shawnrey, I love you. You were part of my first event and you brought that love and that light and that dance and that movement to that. I'll never forget. So this is a family reunion here. And Paulina is an old soul that I know I've met before.
Yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, I guess just to tie it back to like, 'cause what I'm seeing is connecting is just like the power of self-expression, but kind of exhausting or transcending our trauma, transcending our pain, and creating beauty out of it. And that's kind of the human experience as I see, like, and I'm personally inspired as my music. I mean, the blues always inspired me because as a raw, emotive, expressive style, it's taking a very particular social circumstance, very hard times, a lot of tragedy, a lot of pain. But despite that, it's taking it and making it into something beautiful and like healing. And it's like, it almost it does boggle my mind. But I just see that's what art does. And like blues is one of the most pure art forms, in my opinion, because of that. And just the song that you shared, Paulina, Shawnrey sharing her expression, Nicole obviously is art as well. And I just think I would see if you have any thoughts speaking to that, just about what called you to the healing power of art, like without, but also within yourself. Like what made you discover the power of art? And I want to hear from Paulina first.
Okay, awesome. Oh man, there's so many things I feel like I can share around this topic of really stepping into ourselves and into our feelings and into our own liberated expressions, right? And for me, I'm an herbalist. I'm very, very passionate about cultivating intimacy with earth and returning back to Mother Nature and growing our food and knowing that connection, and also coming into our embodiment and our empowerment through this this expression, and knowing that this, in order for people to come into their soul mission, they need to liberate this space. They need to liberate this energy through whatever feels genuinely good in their body. And so for me, it's, I'm called because I genuinely feel like I'm alive to be in devotion. I feel I'm alive to be in devotion to spirit, to the spirit I see in each and every one around me. And being very pulled to plants and working with a lot of plant medicines and mushrooms and things that we can just add into our everyday existence for health and wellness and balance and energetic balance, and to help us in vulnerability and panic and anxiety, and kind of just seeing that nature really just offers this to us everywhere we look if we choose to drop into our sensation. Is what really calls me to create a container for other people to also step into themselves, but encouraging them to find what specifically allows them to arrive to that place.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's powerful. And it's that we all have our own journey within ourselves to see that and distinguish our own divine expression of the universe, and like, it's like we always, I include myself in this. We always look out to the world, like where, like I want to see truth in the universe, and I want to see, like we always look out, and it's like we're made of the same stardust that out there in the universe. Like we are the universe as much as out there, and I feel in that discovery is what opens up expression. It's like when we see and experience ourselves for who we are, that's what allows us to, like you're saying, it's like holding up a mirror. It's like when we can see not how we're interconnected, but how we are, when we are of the same cloth, of the same stardust, but we are when we can see in ourselves or see our neighbor and see ourselves in our neighbor, we all benefit, and like COVID points this lesson to me is, when like a lot of us see, like when I'm sick or when my neighbor is sick, that means my family or my neighbor's family can be sick. But the opposite is also true. When my neighbor and their family is safe, when my neighbor and their family is healthy, so am I, and so is my family. Nicole, how about you? What made you see the power of self-expression? How did you discover your self, capital S?
Wow. Well, thank you for asking that. It's funny. I feel that part of the journey of that breakdown in my life was I was really telling a lot of other people's stories too. And so I feel like I've been on this path of really unbounding and unleashing and unlocking my own voice and my unique expression. And so, I've been able to express through words for a long time, but the truth, it was always like, that was the thing that still needed to be unlocked, like my truth and being willing to say things that were uncomfortable. Cause I grew up in the South, like Shawnrey, I grew up in a way where it wasn't really accepted to express your truth. Like you were supposed to kind of get along and just like I grew up learning how to make everyone else feel comfortable. And so I've been in this battle to unlock my true expression and to be willing to have uncomfortable conversations, because on the other side of that is true, beautiful freedom. And I'm in it still. I'm unlocking it as we speak in this moment. So thank you. Always. Yeah.
Absolutely. The truth is very elusive. How about you, Shawnrey? Would you like to add?
Yeah, actually, there's something really interesting. You talked about, you're talking about blues, and blues is your expression. And like for me, we're talking a lot about like, going beyond ourselves and growing, etc. But one thing that I love about, the blues, and for me, growing up in the Black church and spirituals, like the songs and the things that I bring in, anytime they're very rooted. Again, it's like bringing myself, bringing history, and integrating. And so like when I was doing that call and response, I was like, it was such a beautiful such a beautiful thing to do. Like when I'm doing like the hand clapping, whatever, keep it like super basic. But also it's that spiritual, it's like coming from the blues, coming from like those deep roots, and then having them also, heal. So it's like, so expression is not always, for me, it wasn't always just like creating the new. It was actually going back to what created me and reconnecting with that. So reconnecting with blues. I mean, I grew up, we would go on long road trips, and the only thing that we listened to was blues. It's like, and I was like, I hate that stuff. But then, but being able to come back to it and just be like, oh yeah, like, they were just like really like, that's when people were going through shit. It's like, like in like the, the bars and everything. And so like, for me, like being able to like with any of the things that I'm creating and sharing, it's like, I feel such joy and happiness of being able to come to, music or to art and to call and response, and it's something that is rooted in my history and, bringing, I feel like it's like, that's the way we can heal the present and also heal the past and the future and have like this through line. So I'm just so happy that you talked about, blues and, so that was my thing. That was my thoughts.
I love it. I love it.
Speaking of blues, like there's a conversation that's in that I hear that, yeah, this happened, and yeah, this sucked, and yeah, it hurt, and it's okay. And it's okay. And it's okay. And it's like just that acknowledgement that this happened and there is a moving through it. There is, a past. Like something that has been really present for me in this whole conversation is, to me, this journey or this path that we're on, like it doesn't feel linear. It feels circular.
Yes.
And it's like I come back around to things over and over and over again. But each time I come around to it, there's a new level, there's a new layer, there's something new to be learned from it. And so it's like I'll come into music and expression and I'll get that piece, and then I'll move past it, and then I'll come into herbalism and medicine and medication and wellness, and I'll learn something from that, and then I'll move beyond it, but like again, the reality is I experience is like I don't need anything. I don't need anything. I am sovereign. I am self-capable. I am self-healing. I am whole, complete, and at the same time, I don't always remember that. And it's in the not remembering that I come back around through something else. And there's a question in all this. I'm not sure exactly how to put it. But it's what I guess I'd like to go around the room and like, what is something that brought you back to remembering yourself? And I think I'll just go clockwise and on my screen the way I see it. So Nicole, you're first if you want to there.
Yeah. Well, at first, I just want to acknowledge what you said about the circle, because what I didn't really get to talk about all the dimensions I've been playing in, but I'll just speak to the circle. Is I feel like it's a spiral. It's a spiral, and we're literally living in our own universe spiral, and so these parts are always coming back around to be revisited. So, like, if you've been working through, control issues, or you've been working through shame or unworthiness, like you get to choose differently as it comes back around on the spiral. And so I would say the same is for creative expression, and the same is for, kind of everything we're working with. And so it's just this really beautiful experience of coming back home over and over through the spiral. For me, it's the spiral. And for me, that number one thing is nature. That's my divine source, going out in the nature, playing with the alchemy of the elements, being in the fresh air, being in the sunshine, breathing it in, feet on the beach, on the earth, you know, being in the water, letting the water hold me, and knowing that I'm held by the mother. You know, that's my coming back home always. So.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Paulina.
What a beautiful question. It's what a beautiful question. You know, for me, like, there's a way I feel like every single day, just my attunement to nature, right? Like my full-time relationship with the plant world and with the elements, with the ocean. You know, I live here right on the ocean in San Diego, and it's, you know, source and spirit kind of have all of these infinite ways of expression in their perfection. You know, you just look at the back of a leaf and a ladybug, and, you know, just all of these beautiful, perfect expressions of who we really are, you know, and what we're really made up of. And so for me, I would agree with Nicole. You know, it's like coming back to nature has always been something for me that has really just made sense. You know, it's like I go into nature, I'm like, I just feel this home. You know, I feel the home. Also in a meditation practice, you know, I felt feelings in my body, and through consistent meditation that nobody outside my body has ever made me feel, you know, and I've been in love and I've experienced all those emotions, but that the consistencies to show up to beingness and to stillness has shown me that there are feelings that have can arise in my body that are not created externally. And once I had that understanding and that actual feeling of that dedication, it just made me want to, you know, continue to do it and see what else can help me remember, you know. And now I'm stepping into that leadership to help others remember the unconditional love and divinity that they intrinsically just are.
Absolutely. Shawnee.
So we're talking about what we, like our past, what we remember, or what's it? I have an idea.
Go for it.
What brings you back home?
Yeah.
What brings you back home?
Yeah.
I mean, nature, cosmic, totally yes. And for me, right here, right now, is freaking like childhood. You know, like connecting to all the little things that brought us and made us who we are. And so, like for me, I think about connecting again to play. Like whenever anything that I'm teaching, I talk about, reclaiming. So I'm gonna reclaim my play. I'm gonna reclaim that innocence that I had. I'm gonna reclaim my passion, that fire that that I was when I was little. I'm gonna reclaim, those things, those parts of ourselves when we were little beings, and we're just like, I'm everything, and I don't give a fuck about what anybody says. That's what I'm talking about. So for me, anything that I'm teaching, like, yes, and I feel like, like as little kids, we're just like we're pure beings that just are just so connected to everything. And so being able to, for me, going back to that part of me, that's like a very direct connection. It's like, yeah, I freaking know I was a kid at some point, and my kid knew all the things and felt all the things. And so, yeah, that's fine. That's why I like, whenever I'm like, doing any of the dance stuff, it's like, a dance. It's like, no, but dance. So like, just gets into like that delicious, like rooted, like, connected right here, very simple type of thing. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Absolutely.
I love you.
So that was beautiful. So for me, it's funny. I would say the experience of mystery, wonder, and truth. And what I mean by that is like sometimes I'll have like one of the best days ever. I will feel I'll be fully at peace, fully at rest. For my mind is quiet. My heart is just full, and I just feel the abundance of everything that is within me. And there's like nothing, and it's like, and I'll be strong in that, and I will feel that, and I'll experience like this is who I am truly. There's nothing anybody could take away in the physical world that would take away this feeling and this peace and this this love within me that is like nobody could take it away. And I just like think to myself, like, please, like, never let this feeling go away. Never let, like, I want to feel this all the time. And I'll wake up the next morning. And it's like, oh, I have to wake up. This is horrible. Like I'll go back into that monkey mind, to to the physical experiential world, and it's always a context that I painted that makes me feel that. It's always something that it is kind of surrendering to the mystery of the universe, surrendering to and that's what the experience of wonder and the experience of truth. They're not things I read in a book. I'm not reading a book. It's like, oh, that's wonder, or that's truth. It's not something somebody tells me. It's like, oh, thanks for that. Now I know the truth. It is an experience, and that's what art does. That's what being just immersed in the mystery, but not needing an answer. It's just like it's is that experience of wonder that, and different channels, including art, including having conversations like this, including being in nature, including seeing an amazing landscape or skyline. Something just knocks me out of my mind where I can't even. It's like the experience within me supersedes or overwhelms my senses, that my mind can't even get in the way. And it is standing in that experience of wonder. And that's why I feel I'm called to do art. I'm called to invite artists. It's because that monkey mind's always there. And it's like you said, it's when we forget, and it's like, and I always forget, even when I swear I'm not going to, but it is that experience of surrendering to the mystery of welcoming and inviting and seeking wonder that always brings me back. And it's like, it's a cycle. It is a spiral. It is a circle. There's no, there will be time. I'll always be days where I'll wake up like, oh, well, this is hard. Oh, I have to get up. I have to do this. And then it's like, but it's when I can go back, when I can focus back on that experience, is what all those things that were in my head that I framed to myself as issues or as problems or as burdens just melt away. And I just, the wonder just overtakes it, and it's no longer a burden. How about you, Matthew?
Nature, like, it's funny. The past couple weeks, I've kind of stopped doing everything except for this. Up until today, actually. And today I felt drawn to go out and actually create movement again, in life and in this journey. But the last few weeks have been very still, and there's been a lot of moments to notice when I'm not in that place of awe, in that place of calm, peace, centered meanness. And often what I've noticed first out of these past few weeks has been this feeling of grief, of loss. And it's just been a noticing of everything that I recognized that I had before I came into this body that simply does not seem to work here. I mean, maybe it does. I just haven't figured out how to do it yet, or I haven't remembered how to do it here yet. And there are some things, like the biggest one was actually connection to nature, and to the animals, like being able to talk to them, being able to run with them and play and hunt and jump. And I don't even remember what it was that I saw now, that triggered it. I think it was the movie Alpha. Like seeing the trailer for the movie Alpha. Like if you haven't seen it, it seems like either a channeling or a reimagining of the first relationship between man and wolf. And like I cried like a baby watching that movie. And that was when I recognized that this sadness that I have been in most of my adult life has been grief, like grieving the loss of my childhood, grieving the loss of the experiences that I had outside this body. And that includes some pretty crazy things. Like I remember, being able to just manifest, like being able to just hold an image of something and make it be there in reality, and being able to travel to other planets, all kinds of crazy stuff. And what I'm finding is, as I recognize that grief and acknowledge it and just let it be there, as it moves, as it passes through, that joy is waiting underneath every single time. And it's from that joy that the most powerful movements have been inspired in my life. And that's really it. So like just recognizing where I'm at in this present moment, and then acknowledging what's present, the whatever emotion. And lately it's been grief, and then through the grief is the joy.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. And I think, it's, well, there's so many things you said there, and it's one thing I'm kind of just gathering from everything that was shared is like we are all whole, complete, infinite, and abundant, and it is not only recognizing that it's merely separate. It's removing the barriers that we place sometimes unknowingly, but it's just seeing the barriers that we separate in our reality, in our conversations with ourselves, in our thoughts, identifying with our thoughts and our feelings and the things that come up out of our body, but we don't have control over, when in fact we aren't those things. And the more we focus on those, is like Nicole was saying, it's peeling away. Every time we peel away at the onion, we get a clearer look and experience of that authentic truth. And it's, but it's that experience of it. And when we can see and recognize ourselves, even when we forget, when we can still recognize that within us, we have the power to not only see the barriers, but to cause and transform those barriers into breakthroughs, and those breakdowns into breakthroughs. It's what appears as a speed bump might actually be a ramp to jump to the moon. Like, it's like, we see what things we would explain as obstacles are actually opportunities for us to grow and to expand. But this is so beautiful. Yes, Paulina, please share before we end up.
I think this is, I just want to share that I love this emphasis on we are whole beings, and that we are whole and divine, and we are the complete unconditional love that we show up in this body to be. But I also want to share that I think having quality relations and community is also very necessary to move through grief as well. To feel seen and held in who you are and where you are, I think is a really, really powerful gift that we can give to each other. We do not have to experience these things alone. And that is the power of community. There was a phase of my life where, I got out of a long codependent relationship and then went onto the independent ego part of I'm a woman, I'll do everything on my own, I don't need anybody. I'm full-time relationship with plants, right? And then realizing, wait, actually I need to emotionally process. And I really emotionally process well when others offer their presence. And so I think that cultivating quality relations with people in our community and our brothers and our sisters is a really important part of this human experience, to kind of rise up in our truth and move through grief in our hearts and our bodies. And so just wanted to add that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I think that's beautiful, and and like that's to that point, Paulina. It's like that's what this is. This is what One Day is about. It's like we're connecting communities. It's when we actually show up, we're able to show up to ourselves like truly, and then show up to each other. Like what's possible? Like what's possible when we actually know our authentic self and we show up to collaborate. And that's what One Day is. It's like when we actually show up to ourselves and see and recognize ourselves and each other with to treat our neighbor as ourselves, to actually practice what we preach about the golden rule. Like what's possible when we show up? What new collaborations are possible? What diseases could we cure? What new art and musical masterpieces could we create? What new recipes could we make? And it's like that's the world that I choose to live in, is what's possible. And you all are just an exact are evidence of this beauty that's in the world, and just you all sharing yourselves authentically just not only is a testament to all those things, but it's like just you being you is making my world better. It's making Matthew's world, it's making everybody's world better. So I'm so honored and just so grateful that you all shared with us today. This has been an amazing conversation. It's really uplifting and enlightening for me, and I know our viewers have found it very powerful as well. And this has just been an incredible incredible experience. So thank you all for sharing with us. And I want to continue this, like come back and share with us some more. Let's do this again. Well, that would be amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Abram. I feel like, what new systems are we creating? What new world are we creating? Like, we're creating right now, right here. So I just want to honor you back, and you and Matthew, what you created, because this is us being the change we wish to see. Thank you for leading that charge, brother.
Oh,
Yeah,
we couldn't. It's back to Paulina's point. We can't do it without you. You are our community, and everybody watching is our community, and that's why we have this space, because we want to build bridges. We want to connect, communities, individuals that wouldn't have otherwise. And it's like we all have something to gain and learn, especially from the people we don't understand, especially from the people we don't agree with. And some of the biggest growth in my life has been able to see the people that I love, people I don't know, people who are strangers, people that I don't even like, people that maybe annoy me, but I still will love them, and I still know I have something to learn from them. And it is from that space that I would attribute most of my growth. Is I can set aside that, and I think it's powerful when we can actually show up to each other and recognize seeing others not as their pain, but seeing them as the human carrying pain. But they are not their pain, they are not their toxicity. But this has been such an amazing conversation. So please come back and share with us some more, all three of you. I know this is Nicole's second time, so this will be her third time to come back again. Thank you all so much. This has been such an honor for me and for this movement. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ladies, thank you.
So much love.
Thank you so much. Thank you again to all of our guests. Thank you for tuning in and just sharing the space and holding the space with us. This is such an amazing, gift for me every time we do this, because I learn and I gain so much. And I want to encourage you again to join us and be part of this movement. We want you to share your story. We want you to share your gift. We invite you and encourage you to share on this stage. If you go to the website below, you'll have an opportunity to join this movement, to share on this stage, share your gift, but also to volunteer your time or your energy, that you could be on the ground level of building this movement. We have a lot of exciting things, and the nonprofit that we're going to be announcing soon with the things coming in the future. And I can't wait to share with you what's to come. But thank you all so much. This is our vision of one day. Our vision is humanity rising in a connected world, with each person's unique contributions being valued and magnified through a higher level of collaboration, producing unprecedented new realms of possibility. And that's what this movement is about. And that's what you bring when you share your story. You connect dots, you connect people, you connect hearts and communities. And it's ultimately, this is a new conversation. This is a new paradigm. This is a new era we choose to create. This is the old paradigm hasn't worked, but we have an opportunity to really connect, to really show up in community, to collaborate, bringing our unique gifts and passions that light us up. Because when we are expressed in doing the things that bring us joy, that empower others, we all light each other up. When 8 billion of us actually show up in ourselves and share our gift, we all receive 8 billion gifts. And it's that simple. And it's all rooted in love. And this is the space to hold love and to share who you are. And we want to love you. We want to accept you. We want you to share your gifts. Maybe it's selfish to me. I want your gift, but I want to share your gift as well with everybody else. So just thank you so much. We will be back on Thursday with another new conversation. This has just been an amazing day and amazing conversation. But thank you all for joining us. We will see you on Thursday. I love you all. Be safe, be well. And until Thursday, one day is today. Take care, everybody.